Hey guys, Jesper here, or Airbase if you so choose, and welcome back to another video of, well, it's kind of a behind the scenes of any given track that I released, probably, and most reasonably the latest one I have released. And just recently I released my new track Vermillion on Armada, and I hope you have listened to it. This video might make a little bit more sense if you've heard the track. If you haven't, you might just be interested in looking into someone else's tricks, tips, flaws, all the things that goes into producing. If you've seen my previous videos of this kind of behind the scenes of my tracks, you are already well aware that I'm no super duper pro. I just make it work for myself. So there's probably a lot of forbidden things that I do in my tracks, but I've learned a long time ago that you can do it by the book, or you can do it the way you want it. And if the way you want it makes it sound the way you want it, then there's no reason to try to follow suit. And I'll have a really good example in this track where there's a sound going behind the whole track that isn't tonally actually in the same key as the track, but it works anyway, so I don't care very much because it sits so well with the production when it's mixed in with the other things. And myself 15 years ago would never do that because I would know, okay, that's not the same, it's not the same scale, it's not the same tone, it will not fit. I wouldn't even try it. And here I let's just try and see what happens. So let's dive into Vermillion. It's I guess it's like nine and a half minutes long. Tracks these days are a little bit shorter than before. Remember my first single, Unity of Earth. Well, it wasn't my first, but it was one of the first. It's like 12 minutes and 50 seconds. And today a track is like 5, 6, 7 minutes. And for this specific track, I wanted to make something a little... go back a little bit to what I know and what I've done previously that I like so much to do, and it's like the really big long intros really build it up and have a really long break. And like I'm not too worried about long breaks. People are gonna get bored in the dance floor. I don't care. I don't make music to make it suit some specific place or time. I just want to make this track the way I want it. And if I need a big long break to convey the emotions that I'm looking for, I will have a long break, and I will have the DJs in the clubs, myself included, or the people dancing. I'll let them worry about how to deal with this. Perhaps it's a good time for you to go to the toilet or order something at the bar. I don't know. Long breaks should not be avoided. I like building the emotional structure of the track from both the intro and from the break. So 9.5 minutes, that's more of the old kind of track length, and I think the break kicks in around 4 minutes and it lasts until 6 minutes, so that's a 2-minute break. And yeah, well, you know how this track sounds, but if you haven't heard it, I'll just play a couple of I can play the intro for you. It's one of the things that I like the most about the track. It's like the perfect opener for set, or that's what I'm feeling, that this would be the perfect track for myself to start a set. That's a good solid 1 minute intro with a lot of like strings and I don't know what's in there. It's an organ, a piano, a choir, the whole shebang. It's not even trance, I guess. It's just some classical sounding big pick me up kind of intro that just well, not seamlessly, but it kind of builds you up and takes you into a kind of a low frequency beat that kind of starts to build for the rest of the intro up until to the break. So I assume that people checking this video want to know, okay, what is it that goes into this? Well, we can just take we're gonna jump through the whole track. Yeah, there's no rush, and this is not rehearsed, so you will have to excuse me if I trip over my words or if I say something stupid. I won't worry about it if you don't. So the whole first part is basically made up of, let's just solo something out and just loop a little bit so we can jump through the channels here. What starts the very beginning is a simple choir running from Omnisphere. Pitched it up, some simple ping pong delay and a little utility. I don't know even what I use for that. It seems like I do some gain trickery there somewhere. Let's see. Yeah, I'm fading it back in. I couldn't be bothered to do the fade in Omnisphere, so that's like an ugly trick that is not the way you're supposed to do it. I don't know. We have like a little soft piano, and I believe that would be the Alicia Keys piano from Complete, one of my go-to for pianos. And you will hear this reverb. Actually, if you heard my previous tracks, you have heard this reverb so many times. It's my absolutely the all-time favorite reverb. It's Valhalla Shimmer, which can do some really freaky stuff, especially if you use the feedback. That's gonna turn up the overtones of the reverb. Let me show you that for just a second. If you hear the piano here, you can have it resonate at like an octave up and even another octave up. So let's try it out. Okay, sounds kind of crappy when there's only the low-key piano. Let's try it on the organ. That's some Brian Eno stuff going on there. The problem is I've been using this too much, and I've had this feedback knob way too high on way too many channels. That's kind of the reason that most of my tracks aren't that super clear and crisp. Actually, they're kind of muddy. And I have made it a habit to, before I release everything for mastering, I go through every channel and just reduce all the reverb. It never sounds worse, that's for sure. Sorry, I'm getting into super high detail. That's gonna make this video a full feature length. Okay, so some pads. Running Omnisphere there, and we have another pad, like a little shimmery pad from Omnisphere as well. The choir was on a lot of Omnisphere here. The string comes from Complete. I think it's a Complete Ultimate 11. This is the string ensemble, like one big knob for dynamics. Apart from that, just load it up and hammer it out. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, some really simple strings there. They're kind of ugly if you play them totally alone, but this staccato kind of sound makes a good. It adds tempo to this part where it's mostly pads. I believe that's the first time I've used brass in a track, and here I'm going all in for the Symphony Essentials from Complete Ultimate 11 as well. Just cranking that dynamics up to the top and hammer it out. The problem is I have no clue how to make a symphonic music. Let me turn the channel off, channel number 2 off, and listen a little bit here. I would say that sounds kind of nice, but it's not enough, and I know too little about symphonic music that I couldn't find a way to make it even more. I just want it more and more epic. So lucky me, I have a little brother. For you who know my previous works, we did a few tracks, first an Andre, widescreen, and Cruiser. Oh, I'm getting old, I don't remember. I think it was called a Cruiser. Widescreen was the theme for Sensation White in Belgium like 10, 11, 12 years ago. And my little brother, he has always been into classical music, and both those singles were released with a director's cut, which was basically the classical version of the trance track. And usually we trance producers, we take classical work and we make it into trance music. This time we made trance music and he made the classical version of it. Anyway, he's super talented with the classical stuff written with computers. So I said, okay, here's, I sent him some, basically the chords. This is how I want my intro. Can you just do your thing, do magic? And he said, I'll give it a try. So he made me a little snippet that I thought, okay, let's just, my first instinct was, let's just replace my work with his work and have that be the intro. And then I thought, let's try to make them go together and see what happens. Let's just check out, he's just amazing. Listen to this. He just threw this together. That is awesome. It's so much more organic, so much more real sounding than my. I think he wouldn't tell me, but I just assume he laughs at what I send him, and he says, "Okay, this guy needs help," and he sent me that kind of stuff, and I just make use of what he's helping me with. So I'm super happy that he wanted to help me out. But let's not stick too long here. We only covered the first minute. So this track actually started with the whole intro. I was just playing around with the strings because it actually started with me thinking, what is it that my brother buys? What kind of software is it that he buys that makes it sound so good? And it, well, part one, there are software that are extremely expensive and they are super heavy in resources that you can have like a few instruments, then you maxed out your computer. But the other thing is that I'm just not as talented to use those software, so I wouldn't gain anything from buying them anyway. So I was just browsing around the complete ultimate package to see, okay, how good can I get it? And the classical way of covering bad sound is to just layer stuff. So I just crammed a lot of stuff in there with the same kind of chord setting, and then I started to rearrange. And it's typical for me to produce from left to right. I don't start with the beat, the groove, or anything. At least not very often. It sometimes happens, but for the most part, things that end up as a track, it starts from the very start, 0 seconds, and I just work my way up. That also means that I have so many tracks that I've started that ends up around the 3-minute mark, where it's time for a break. Now I've pushed the work of finding a good theme for this track. Perhaps I've already covered it in the intro, or I've teased something that are inspiring enough to make something later on. But sometimes the tracks just stop there. I can't figure out where to go from there. So perhaps I should find new ways to work with how I structure my music. But I like to be along the trip for the track. I want to bond with the track in its not like real time, but I want to experience the track from the start to the end, both as a listener and as a producer, because that makes it easier for me to know what is it that I need to add now to take this further on. Okay, is it getting a little bit repetitive? Do I need to break it up? Do I need to introduce chord changes? Do I need effects? Do I need to add something? What is missing? And I can just build the track organically. And the cost of that is many tracks stopped around the middle. It's too bad. Sometimes I come back to them and finish them. The track that I released a while ago called Lacrimose was originally made in 2013, and I couldn't get it past the 130 mark, and it's been just lying around. I really liked what I had, but I didn't know where to take it, and just one day, I know exactly what to do. So there are some hope for tracks that I've left behind, so don't you worry. Anyway, I'm just talking. I hope you have time. So this intro beat is super simple. I'm so bad with producing drum patterns, which is ironic because I'm not classically trained in any instrument except for drums, and I don't mean to say classically trained because it's the only thing that I have actually trained in school. But I don't think that I have a lot of use for that now, unfortunately. So I work a lot with rearranging, like looping different parts of loops. I'm just combining loops for days on end to see if I can find something that combined they make it a unique kind of sound. And for this track, I didn't really want to go for a super unique kind of beat. I just wanted to have a percussion that accompanied the bass line and the kick. So it's not a super unique beat here. I have a lot of bass lines. I think I have 5 of them working, and for the intro I have only 3. This sounds actually super ugly when it's played just with the kick. And it even sounds bad when you turn on the other bass. It adds the low end. But the magic to getting this bass line to work with this kick is the percussion loops that I found that works really well. It kind of mellows the weird offbeat kind of feel of this bass line. And here we have that effect that I was talking about in the beginning. So let's see what we have here. We have the piano. Okay, so we have a B. So everything is in B. I hope so. B, yes. And this sample is some. Let's just listen to the piano. Boom. Lovely. Then listen to this. I think I've tweaked it a little bit, transposed it to make it fit a little bit, but they are a little bit off. Well, not terribly off, but it's not tonal magic, that's for sure. But when this sound is being run in the background, I guess with some sidechaining going on here, yep, some sidechaining and some reverb, it kind of floats in and adds a nice background, kind of not an instrument, but not an effect, somewhere in the middle. If you remove it, it makes all the difference. It gets very dry and it doesn't have the same bigness to it. I'm inventing words here. So let's see what happened with the bass there. I assume I just filtered some. We're running the Dune 2.5 for the bass. I guess I'm doing some. What the hell am I doing there? Oh, I think I've controlled the cutoff filter with the velocity here. So I hope so. Yes. I actually forgot to use that effect there. I think it's there, but there are places that I should have placed it. But you will always find things in your track that will never be perfect. If they need to be perfect, you will never be finished anyway. So I will call those little mistakes like unique markers for a track. So I don't mind too much. So let's see what happens here. There we have some like a faux 303. It's a Spire. It's not terribly 303-ish, but it has that little acidy sound, and I messed up the automation. And in the effect department here, I'm a big fan of using a lot of effects, and I don't mean a lot of different effects. You find a few effects that you want to use, and you use them, and you can like mix them up. You can reverse them, and you can combine them in different ways. That makes it sound coherent, but it varies, and we have some. Here we have a little. Sorry. you don't know that that is there until you separate the channel. And the now classic sidechain effect. It adds a lot of space to it. And let's see what we have there. It's the glitch fill. It's from it's most audible in the beginning. So let's continue here. A lot of loops running. We have the crash. We have some reverse. Nothing too crazy. And there we have a little synth coming in there somewhere. Must be that one. It's a Spire, and it I believe it runs almost. It's from the Arkson signature style lead from Arkson's Dune 2.5 pack. He's fantastic with tweaking patches, and if you've heard my previous singles, you know that I have a thing for that kind of wobbly, solar stony, arisen kind of sound. And what is a trance track without some more or less hidden super sauce? And when we reach the break here, not much going on, apart from introducing a lot of the stuff from the... Oops, sorry, too far. The brass is back. So this part of the break follows the chord changes from the intro build-up, and when it passes over to this marker here, 141, it switches to the same theme as in the intro and also the main theme. But they flow into each other quite nice, so I think you won't be too thrown off by that. And yeah, kind of just building here and throwing you straight into a simple organ with the intro. The intro is the same lead as the... the main theme is the same lead as the intro lead. Only with a few... it's layered with a few instruments here. Let's check it out. Including the source. And this lead, main lead, is well, it's quite usual to just repeat the lead, and this lead is repeated, but it's always changing. If you listen to this first turn, it starts high, low, high, high, low, high, and then it builds up to the break. And then it goes down. I was playing around with having that note high as well. Try it out. And I guess that's fine too, but I thought it gave a very nice feel to it when it started low there. By the way, we have the sample is back. So it's high, low, high, and then we start low, going up to high, and here we started high, going down, and there's some differences of how it changes at the end. But I like to do a little bit of those small twists, just to liven it up a little bit. And one of those twists is if you listen to this riff in the background. It has the same note pattern, basically from the 3-minute mark up to the 5:45 mark. But when the main theme of the break is over and it throws you into the kick with the lead building up to the climax, it actually changes. And that's basically just to liven it up a little bit. Plus, it works very well when you remove all the other instruments, because here we remove all the strings. The sample from my brother is completely over, and now it's just bass, some very short kicks, and the lead building up. Sounding a little bit softer now than the mastered final version, but you get the point. And also you see the piano is running all the way through, and the brass is also running like it's a good way to punch it off. That just adds really low brass, gives you the Inception kind of brop brop, and some low key piano also gives a little bit of power to it, combined with just about everything: cymbals, kicks, effects, sweeps, this and that. And if you just cut away a little bit from the lead there, just make it a little bit, take a little breather, so it has time to chill down and then come back with full force. It's going to give you more energy. Same with the bass. I hear some people do it. It's not my type of music. When you bring the bass line and the lead all the way, and you roll up the kick, and you need something like just one breath before you exhale for the full force power. I think they're missing an opportunity to breathe more energy into the climax. If you just roll it straight up and roll into the climax, it's like you almost miss it. And from here on, it's not so very much. We forgot some boom sounds here from just low-end stuff. We have a rev chord thing going on there. Oh, that was the little thing. And you notice from the whole main part here, I removed that little tonally off kind of thing, and I also removed the little sweepy major hula kind of Aloha Hawaii chord. It doesn't work here because it comes from a minor and goes into a minor, and I don't want to have the major sweep. I tried it. If it would have worked, I would have kept it, but it didn't work, so I just dropped it. A long outro. The theme goes for two rounds, and I'm just kill your darlings never. I found a third place to put this wonderful sample in there, so. Like chilling out completely, and it's almost like it's about to stop, but no. And this is gonna annoy a lot of DJs. That the whole track, this section, and also the intro section is in major key. Most tracks have a minor key for the intro and outro parts. That's if you use mixed in key or any of the tools to analyze music, you will most probably see minor more usually than major. So you can mix minor major if you just find the right tone. So it's not too much of a problem for anyone anyway. I'm assuming that the intro part will be more of a problem for most DJs, but they're gonna have to earn their money and just skip ahead and queue up for 1 minute 5 seconds. I mean, they get paid a lot, I guess, so they can do the work they will figure it out, I guess. So I don't know if there's so much more to show here. Some small fill-ins. If you want to, just gonna go through all the channels to see. You see, I've used the group functions a lot in Ableton. I'm sorry if I'm jumping around crazily here. Ableton 10 is still kind of new to me. I'm still struggling with the automation button and the reversed order for snapping, but it should be fine. And you can now have groups in groups. That's going to be wonderful once I realize what I should use it for. Perhaps drums more than anything. So kick, nothing special. It's just a sampler with a kick, sampler with a clap, sampler with a what is that? I don't know. Yeah, something a little reverby, kind of snappy kind of clap. The reversed little sample. Actually, the old school way of just dropping it right in there, even syncing it to the syncing it so it's gonna match the clap. So. Symbol, nothing strange, just a sample. All the loops, well, a lot of loops. I think no effects on the group, but mostly it's just some gain control and some EQ to remove the low end. I guess for the most part I try to remove the low end because it's crowded in the low spectrum. So if you don't need the bass from something, just cut it away. Some minor compression and some sidechain compression, bass removed, nothing. Okay, let's see what kind of sample didn't need anything. That's super clean, no need for anything there. The piano, as I said, that was Alicia Keys from Complete. We have the Omnisphere for organ, we have Omnisphere for pads, Omnisphere for pad 2, we have Omnisphere for the choir, and for the strings we have that, I guess that was the String Ensemble Symphony Essentials, just like the brass. And for the ARP strings, I use the Session Strings Pro, and I use the animator mode, and you can pretty much do your own arpeggiator for this, or you can use any of the built-in if you want to. Brass, we did go through. The basses are mostly variants of Dune. There's a Zebra 2 as well. Zebra is one of my favorite synths. Too bad that all the patches are not sorted alphabetically in the latest version of Mac OS. So it's hell finding anything, because as far as I know, there's no search. On the other hand, I'm trying to make use of that by not knowing what I'm gonna look for. I'm just gonna end up with something unexpected, and why not? Perhaps I'll find something useful. That's a way of coping, I guess. For the leads, there's a lot of Dune as well. I just purchased Dune, so I guess it's the new and shiny effect there. Zebra 2 for the second lead. We have a Zebra 2. There's a Zebra 2, a lot of Zebra 2s there, and also a little Spire for the 303 acid kind of thing going on there. Spire also for the intro. Which one was that? That's a lovely sound, I like it. The effects are basically just effects dropped in audio channels. Some perhaps have effects, some most have no effects, and the screamy kind of hybrid noise has some reverb, sidechain compression, and removed low end. And if you didn't know how you do sidechain, or if you don't know how I do it, it's almost you can't even make it out. But there's actually a dark colored. Let's just change color here. There's basically just a bass kick drum that I've reduced the decay to receive that kind of click sound, and that's basically what you use for any. You can use as many as you want, but for the most part I just want one for the beat, and here I use it for many things, like the brass. I use it for this sweeping thing here. Basically from the compressor plugin, you enable sidechain, you select which channel, I call it SC, and put it on the top, and you just select if you want it post effects or pre effects or post mixer, and then you can just hammer it out and see how you want it. You can or how much you want. So it's a super useful tool. Sorry, I got sidetracked there. For the effects too, I guess it's just more of the same. Samples for in audio channels, chord effects, some reverb, some compression, some glue compressor, and I'm cutting away the low end. Rev chord, nothing there. Nothing at all. I don't even have anything on the master. So yeah, that's how I did it. I did some mistakes and I did some good, but I'm super happy with the track, how it turned out, and I'm super thankful for my brother for helping me out with the beefing up the strings, the symphonic parts. And overall, this is for me one of my personal favorites so far, and I really like it. I hope I get to come out and play it in clubs very soon. And you can bet your ass that I will start off the set with this track, especially with that kind of intro. I'm super happy with the intro. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the track. And if you have any questions, use the comments and let me know, and I'll try to reply if there's anything that I perhaps forgot from all this. I've just been running my mouth here for I don't know how long. Probably said too much of some things and I said too little about some other things. So let me know if you have any questions and I'll be happy to answer them. Hope you enjoyed. Take care.